Recently, I posted a short video on the topic of what's holding you back. And it was after a session with one of my Silva Method advanced students, and it received so many comments. Comments like, this is exactly what I needed to hear today. Thank you so much. Those synchronicities inspired me to go a little deeper into the topic. So let's begin. What's holding you back from scaling up, from making that next step, from taking it to the next level? Too often I've heard from people, and I'm included in my past, I've been doing this work 52 years for the Silva Method, I'm just getting by. I always manage to get just as much as I need, but not a penny more. Or today we say, not a dollar more. Can you relate? Let's think about that. There are many reasons, and I don't mean to minimize it. It can be a complex challenge. However, there are some definite considerations for you to make that can help you to manage this. First of all, and perhaps the obvious would be, it's important that we make an assessment of ourselves, our skills, the value we're adding to our customers, our clients, or maybe it's in a relationship with a loved one, somebody we care about, whether it be our children, our spouse, our significant other. What value? What's in it for them? What are we bringing to the game? It's important that we also look at, do I have what it takes? Now, that doesn't mean yes or no. It just may mean I need training. I need more skills. I need to be mentored. I need to read. I need to study, whatever it is. But it's important that we take an honest assessment of where we're at now in whatever it is that we want to achieve, whatever it is that we want to build on and take to the next level. I know, that's the obvious. However, what's for some people not so obvious has to do with, do we feel we deserve the success? Well, let me explain, we go a little more. You might say, oh, of course I deserve it. I know. Consciously, we can all play that game. Of course I deserve to succeed. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to thrive. That's obvious. That's the conscious expression. The driving force behind whether we achieve something, whether we succeed in a spectacular way, or whether we're just getting by, has more to do with self-esteem. In doing my research over this nearly over half a century, we know that psychologically speaking, self-esteem, the way we feel about ourselves, do we love ourselves, do we appreciate, do we respect ourselves, which contributes to whether we feel that we deserve whatever it is that we want. Self-image, on the other hand, is what we bring to the game, the external expression, how we dress, how we look, the car we drive, the way we want to show up and people to see us. You see some of the videos of people with their yachts behind them and their jets and so on and so forth. I'm not knocking, I'm just saying that's all self-image stuff, outer expression. What really is the driving force is how we honestly and truly, deep in the subconscious, in the Silva Method, we call it an inner conscious state, what we really feel. And unless that's addressed, you'll have trouble managing your weight, taking it off. You'll have trouble managing any addiction. You'll have difficulty scaling up. You'll have difficulty getting to the next level. I remember a long time ago, it was decades ago, Les Brown was giving a presentation to a group of insurance people, and my brother-in-law sent me a copy. Back then it was on cassettes. And for the hour presentation that he gave, it was brilliant. He was very motivating. Les was very inspiring. And the primary point he made was, you don't get what you want, you get what you need. If we fast forward now to present with all the research going on in neuroscience, we now understand that our emotions are what are the driving force. It's not really new just today, because for the past 10, 15 years, everything I've looked at and studied, going deep into it, has said that our emotions run our physiology. Whether we're nurtured has more to do, the environment we live in, and has more of an impact sometimes than even our genetic expression. Or at least, can we agree, it has a big influence. And that's part of where he's coming from, is because we know that, for example, if you remember way back when I started in 71 teaching the Silva Method in New York and Boston, affirmations, declarations, positive statements were so important. And one of our famous Silva grads, Louise Hay, bless her heart, when she was alive, she was so creative with these affirmations. They're beautiful, they sound great, something to live by, but they're not enough by themselves. Because we now know from research, you have to repeat them a million times. They primarily address the cognitive thinking, the outer objective thinking. And that is on the surface. We need to get what's deep within in that so-called subconscious state and make the changes, statements there. Then as we moved into guided imagery and visualization and mental rehearsal, you know, this is not news. Athletes, top performers, entertainers, business people have been mentally rehearsing their ideal best self, their future self showing up, and it has significant impact. In recent years, places like top universities like Harvard University, Stanford, etc., across the globe have found how mental rehearsal added to actually physically exercising or physically practicing any skill, even playing the piano or any instrument, can greatly improve the skill. But I can tell you though, based on brain scans and what's going on in neuroscience, I love it. You know, I kind of wish Jose Silva was still alive, because so much of what he was teaching way back, people go to woo-woo. Now we understand that if there's not a feeling, an elevated emotion, a feeling of joy, a feeling of anticipation, a feeling of I'm living it as if it's happened already, and I'm so joyful and so appreciative and in deep gratitude, not much will happen. That is really the key. So all positive affirmations, guided imagery, mental rehearsal, and especially in a state of elevated emotion. And you can do that, by the way, by adding a gratitude practice to your life, especially in meditation. That's my thing. The Silva Method, especially in all of our programs, in the Silva Life and Intuition System, the immersion, in the graduate advanced program called Silva Mastery, a big emphasis is not just the material, the techniques, but the guided meditation. We call it dynamic meditation. So I want to advise you that whatever you take away from this video, whatever you already know, no matter how good it is, no matter how positive, no matter how inspiring it is, make sure that you're integrating it in a meaningful way while in a quiet, relaxed state. What come to know, we know that our brainwaves, when they slow down to a sleep-like state of alpha and theta, it's a super learning state. We learn much faster, much easier, just like young children before puberty. They learn incredibly faster than any adult. And that's what we're teaching. We now know in the dynamic meditation that we teach in the Silva Method, we're getting into that state to bring that change. So whatever it is the tool, whatever is the modality you're practicing, you want to integrate that aspect. So let's go back to this idea of self-esteem and feeling that you deserve it. So a couple of tips I have for you. Self-esteem, some have defined, if you look at the work of the late Nathaniel Branden, he was like the go-to guy when it came to self-esteem. Nathaniel Branden, the pillars of self-esteem. We know that self-esteem, simply defined, is a measurement of how we feel about ourselves, how we love and respect ourselves, how we appreciate ourselves. And the message is, the more we truly, honestly believe in ourselves, trust and respect ourselves, because of, we've paid the dues, we're making the effort, we're giving the value, important. Remember the assessment? We're giving tons and tons and tons of value. We're putting our clients first. We're putting their goals first. We're making sure that they get the best out of whatever it is you're serving them with, whether it be your coach, whether it be a training, whether it be a product or a service. So when you know that you're at your best and you're really giving a lot and value, that naturally helps us to feel, I deserve to thrive, because of the benefits people are getting as a result of working with me. So one way to build on that is to take an assessment of reflection on your past successes. Clients will give you positive feedback. Customers will tell you what value they're getting from you. Very important. Journal it, log it, save it in your emails, save it if people still send letters. And while in a quiet, relaxed alpha state, in Silva we call it your level, you want to reflect on that and feel that. Because what happens is you have evidence. You can say, hey, I've been there, done that. Yes, I'm making a difference in the lives of my customers, my clients, my students. And you feel great. That's how you elevate your emotions of joy. And of course, the question is, how can I do even better? How can I serve them even better? Very important. It's multifaceted. Another recommendation I would make to you is you got to be really careful not to shame yourself. Have you ever done this? I know, I've caught myself doing it. You make a mistake. You have a mishap. You go, oh, crap. Rookie move. You idiot. I know, if you're a solo practitioner, cancel. But have you ever done that? Can you relate? Or you say, I can't believe I did this again. What's wrong? And then sometimes people, it's those knee-jerk, those immediate reactions. Because of course, if we think about it and reflect, we say, of course I'm not an idiot. But it's that knee-jerk reaction when the emotion is high because we've had a disappointment, because we made a mistake, because we did something that didn't work. So it's very important to manage it in a dialogue and become mindfully present with the way you respond. It's inevitable. We all make mistakes from time to time. We all do our best to be at our best, but that's not always the case, is it? So be very important, because if you're talking to yourself like that, you're shaming yourself. And while you're in that state of your emotions are elevated because of the upset, and it's going to have more impact on you if you say, and you shame yourself. And shaming. Some people have been in therapy for years because they had parents who inadvertently, for one reason or another, shamed them, felt guilty. If you're still doing if you're working with people who are out of integrity, it's very challenging, isn't it? Hey, I've been there myself. It's no picnic working with people that you need to or have to work with because of the circumstances, and they're not in integrity. They're inconsistent, or whatever it might be. And we need to pay attention to that, because if we're doing something that they are insisting we do and it's wrong, we feel it's wrong, or it's illegal, or it's not of value. Like someone told me, it's actually one of my sons selling. He left the company he was doing really good, because they were not honoring contracts. They were lying in their contracts, their agreements to their customers. He said, Dad, I can't live with this. This is wrong. I said, bless you, son. I understand. That's great. So it's very important. You see what I mean? There's a lot to this. It's not just a quick fix. We need to really carefully look at all the different angles. The other thing, so you can look, and here's another tip. It's a little bit silly if you've never done it, but at night before you go to sleep, good time to do this, because then you go to sleep and you don't think about it. You don't worry. You don't dig it up and second guess yourself. You look yourself straight in the eye in the mirror and you smile and you say something like, I deserve to thrive. I love and accept myself just the way I am. And I always add, and I want to be even better. I love and accept myself just the way I am, and I want to be even better. Look at that and feel that. You can add things like, look at all the good I'm doing. Look at all the value I'm adding. I deserve to thrive. Excuse me. It's important to have those feelings and really mean it, not fake it. This fake it till you make it stuff is, I think, relates to what some call the imposter syndrome. Good luck. I understand when you're mentally rehearsing that as if it's happened already, eventually we get inspired. We think of ideas, of steps to take, action to take to make it true. I'm with you. But it's not just enough to fake it. You know anybody like that? There's a consultant working with us on our team some years ago, and I even told her privately, love the person, great. I said, but you're really good at faking what you bring to the game. Because I knew she really didn't understand what she was suggesting that was affecting our international organization. So you got to have the skills, you got to have the competence, make sure that your competency levels are there. Because when they are, It's not just, well, I paid my dues, I deserve, because you have evidence to support this, that you have a right to love, and no matter what, you have a right to love and accept yourself, frankly. Get the idea? Another way, another aspect to look at is be careful about the shame-based emotions. Make sure that you surround yourself with people who support you, who encourage you, who will say, yeah, you go for it, or who maybe offer a thought or some positive, honest feedback to help you grow, as compared to those who denounce you. Oh, you could never do that. You know the type? When I first started with the intention to teach the Silva Method, I was 19 years old. I was the youngest on the planet. Now I'm one of the oldest, more so in experience. And my family, they love me. They want me to be disappointed. In fact, think about it. Would you like a nice disappointment today? I ask that question in Silva Mastery all the time. Some of my classes with the beginners, we'll call them. And I've never had anybody say, oh yeah, I love to be disappointed. And that's another aspect. If you have a fear of failure, if you're afraid you may not succeed, that can impact what action you take, what steps you take, because you don't want to be disappointed. We need to make peace with that. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to screw up. It's really not a failure. You've heard this before. As long as what? We learn the lesson. And we forgive ourselves. Hey, I made a mistake. I made a big, huge mistake. And we forgive ourselves. And we give ourselves permission not to be perfect. That's part of what? Building positive, healthy self-esteem. And then mentally rehearse you doing what you had intended to do as if you were there at that time, and now it's working. Now you're doing it properly. Now you're at your best. It doesn't replace the mistake you made, of course not. But if you keep wallowing and worrying and shaming yourself about, oh, what you did, I should have done this, what you're inadvertently doing is you're mentally rehearsing what not to do. Because we know where attention goes, energy flows. And whatever we give attention to, we give energy to. Whatever you give energy to, will grow and multiply. So be very, very careful about that. So what I'm saying is we also take to be honest with ourselves and acknowledge if we made a mistake, if we did something that's awful, whatever it might be. And forgive yourself. Let it go. Mentally rehearse as if you're there in that situation, doing it the way you'd like to. I hope this helps. If you're still listening, that says a lot about you. I congratulate you for loving yourself enough to at least give me a shot at possibly helping you take it to the next level. My name is Ken Coscia. I serve as the training director for the Silva Method, the senior most instructor. It's been my joy, my pleasure, now going into my 52nd year doing this. And it'd be great to meet you one day. And if you're a Silva practitioner, fantastic. And if you're reading the books, fantastic. If you're looking at some of the intros that are out there, Mind Valley has, at best, a nice intro. It's a good intro, but it's not the coursework. The best way to do this, if you're sincerely interested in the Silva program, is live, in person, or live, virtually, with a certified instructor who will guide you step by step and watch. So in our classes, we don't have these mega events of thousands or even hundreds. You're getting a personalized approach with the instructor watching. And that's important because during the meditations, there's a lot. I know when I'm watching my students, I can often tell how they're doing by just observing their body language during the meditation. Because again, it has to do with once we accept something emotionally, it's more likely to become so. Which is another reason why people get stuck and they never get past a certain point, is because they don't have a clear future identity. They don't have a clear, compelling vision of their future. They're still saying, as some say, they're still being defined by the past and what they should have, would have, could have done. So my friends, another tip for you is create that vision of your future. Mentally rehearse it as if it's happened already. I look forward to seeing you soon. Remember, you've got so much more than you give yourself credit for. You've got this.